Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back to the Stink Bug Works. Today, I'm going to talk about progress we've made on this little guy. Actually, we've made a lot of progress. Stand by. The motor is mounted. The stuffing tube is installed. I still need to go over here with a coat of epoxy and make this look pretty, and I'm going to do some epoxy and Cabicel around here to smooth out this little joint here. But it's smooth as can be. Absolutely smooth as can be, and that motor is hidden way the heck up in there. How cool is that? So today's project is epoxy, and I have some drawings I have to work on. Once the epoxy cures, I'm down to figuring out a water pickup, shortening the cable. Oh, I'm going to do something interesting on the cable. Get a load of this. In order to allow more flexibility right there at the strut, I don't necessarily want the nose of the strut going into that brass stuffing tube. If it does, it's going to be hard to adjust. Hello, let's take this out. It's going to be hard to adjust the angle of dangle. The height you can easily adjust because the stuffing tube will move with you. But when you're doing the angle of dangle adjustments, can you boys and girls see that? When you're doing the angle of dangle, when you're adjusting like this, if this is stuck in here, it's going to be hard to do. So here's my plan. Follow me on this. I have this cool heat shrink tube that has an adhesive on the back of it. And I'm going to take the stuffing tube and I'm going to mount it snug. See how it's snug in there? And I'm going to put a shrink tube up to the leg on the strut. So I'm going to go over the nose of the strut and onto the Teflon liner to where this shrink tube will butt right up against here. And so I can put some pressure on it and do that. And in fact, I may put a piece of shrink tube over the stuffing tube and over this other shrink tube. And see, what that'll do is that'll leave me just a little bit of gap here that I can play with the angle of dangle. Now realize the angle of dangle changes, doesn't have to be much, a degree or two. It's pretty small. So I can take that little bend as a flex in the cable real easily there, as long as the nose cone of the strut doesn't go over the stuffing tube. And in this particular case, it can't because they're the same diameter. Then this will butt up against that. So that was my whole plan. I'll seal it all up with adhesive shrink tube, and it'll leave me room for up and down and angle adjustments. So there you are, boys and girls, getting real close. Now, talk about tools. We're going to talk about tools. When I was mounting the motor, or more correctly, when I was figuring out where to put the stuffing tube, I mounted the motor and I wanted the right length of cable in my connector. So I cut the cable longer than necessary, and then I would cut off bits of it until it got just to the right place where it would point at where I wanted to drill my hole. So the matter comes down to cutting cables. Now, the normal way, the usual way, the most common way of cutting it is just with a Dremel tool, because everybody has a Dremel tool. Dremel tools work wonders. But if you have some nice cable cutters, and realize they come in different sizes. This was for a bicycle, and actually I think this may have even been for a bicycle too. Does it say park there? I need my magnifying glasses. Anyway, you can see what little short bits I can cut off of a drive cable. I can cut an eighth of an inch off of a drive cable without fraying. And how they work is they surround the cable, and so as they clamp on the cable, there's no place for the wires to go other than inward, so they all go inward. And see, that's the whole idea on all of these. They surround it and then cut it. If you were to use dikes, it just spreads it out. Tool of the day, cable cutters. Handy dandy, good to have. This is a 130 cable. It'll probably cut 150 cable. I would want bigger ones for bigger cables. And mind you, they have things that'll cut 2-inch cables, you know. So it's the same tool, only bigger. So there you go, boys and girls. Getting close on this. Getting close. Oh, I broke my my ESC mount, but I have a heavier carbon fiber angle that I'll use next time around. So I'll just mount it in the same place, same thing, same bat place, same bat time. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out.